Hey, Jolt!
Hey, Tre! What up, Jolt? Tre!
Hey, what's going on?
Tre, what are you doing, man?
Obviously, I'm building things. I'm building the Jenga tower, you know?
I can see your building, but like what? Like what are you trying to build?
It's a tower. It's the Leaning Tower of Jolta.
The Leaning Tower of Jolta?
Yeah, Jolta. You know, like pizza?
You know how I feel about that?
Huh. Dude, what the heck was that about?
I don't know. We live in a broken world. And as a result, there are broken things all around us. And I don't just mean like buildings that are old and falling apart, but I mean people. The world is hurting because people are hurting and broken. I mean, look around. It isn't hard to find examples of people that are hurting or even examples of people that are hurting other people. I mean, sometimes it's intentional, like things like bullying and those things that happen and are awful and are terrible, and we need to do everything we can to stand up for justice in those situations and to stop it. Sometimes people are being hurt and it's unintentional. It's just that someone is being so selfish that they don't care about what's happening to other people and other people are getting hurt. All I know is everywhere I look around the world, I see people that are hurting and that are being hurt. Sometimes it's just that life hurts. Life sometimes stinks because this world is broken. Sometimes it's just that life hurts. Sometimes we're hurting and nobody knows about it. And it feels alone and it feels lonely, hurting and going through these battles all on our own. We live in a broken world because we are broken people. And I know this sounds really dim and depressing, but guess what? There's good news. In fact, it is the good news. The good news about Jesus and why he came to earth. It's because he wants to help fix us. He wants to fix this broken world. God's plan has always been to start fixing the world by helping people who are hurting. And here's the deal, we're all hurting and broken. You are, I am, everyone around you, all of us are hurting and broken. But the good news is that Jesus wants to help fix us. And he wants you and I to help him. Hey, Tre, I have a question for you.
Oh, I have a question for you too. First of all...
Wait, Tre, hold on. My question first, obviously. Dude, okay, here's my question, okay? What is something that you wish could be rebuilt?
Rebuilt? Something that was a thing and someone destroyed it.
I mean, Tre, it's not that hard.
Well, I think...
Well, you know, if it were me, the thing I wish could be rebuilt, obviously, is old Detroit Tiger Stadium. Also, that the Tigers could rebuild and be good again. Am I right? I mean, because they're terrible.
Brandon,
baseball in general is just
what is up with you today?
Who even watches baseball anymore? You know what I mean? Like, we gotta rebuild that. Although maybe not, because baseball's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it should just die. Dude, like what? You don't like my answer?
It has nothing to do with your answer.
What?
It just has everything to do with you today.
Dude, what's your deal?
I just wish our freaking friendship could be rebuilt!
Huh? So much confusion! So I want to tell you a quick story. It's in John chapter 2. I don't have time to get into all of it, so go read it on your own. It's a great story. So one day, Jesus goes into the temple, and there's these people that are supposed to be helping people worship by helping like them get these animals to sacrifice. It's kind of this confusing system, but whatever. Instead of helping people worship, they're actually trying to make a profit off of these people, and this infuriated Jesus. I mean, he got like legit super mad. So Jesus actually makes like a homemade whip and he like turns into Wonder Woman. He's like running around, swinging this thing around, flipping tables over, telling them all to get out because how dare you do this in my Father's house? So not only were they trying to make a profit off of worship, but they were doing it in God's name. And this really made Jesus mad because they were hurting people. So, of course, the religious leaders, they don't like this. They start panicking, they get all upset, and they go to Jesus and they start questioning him, and they question his authority on how can he kick people out of the temple like this. And Jesus responds with something confusing and quite scandalous. Jesus points to this ancient temple, this old building, so back to the past. And he says, this building has been so important to you guys. I'm going to destroy it and then rebuild it in 3 days. Now, this building had taken years and years and years to build, which is very confusing and scandalous because this is a very important building to this group of people. It's where they went to worship. But we kind of understand that Jesus didn't mean the actual physical building. He was referring to himself as the temple because he knew that these same people were going to kill him, destroy him. And then 3 days later, he would rise back to life, defeating death, defeating sin so that we can all have a relationship with Jesus, the whole Easter story thing. So Jesus went back to the past to talk about the future, to talk about how Jesus can rebuild anything that has been destroyed. And Jesus did that because of how much he cares about people, about you and me and everybody else, because he loves us. And we live in this broken world because there's so many hurt and broken people. And Jesus is saying, I want to help rebuild that too. I want to rebuild relationships. I want to help heal hurting people. I want to help rebuild what the world has destroyed. Maybe for you, it's rebuilding a relationship with God because you just feel very distant from him. Or maybe there's some people, some family members or friends in your life that there's just been some destruction in your relationship and you need God's help to rebuild it. Maybe God wants to use you to rebuild someone else's relationship with God by inviting them to church and they can hear about God, or you telling them about God. You could help them rebuild their relationship with God. Things in this life just feel broken far too often because we live in a broken world full of hurting people. Jesus wants you to know that he can rebuild what has been destroyed. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's something in you that just feels broken and you need God's help. Maybe it's something you see in the world that is unjust and you want to help become a part of the solution. Whatever it is, God wants to help you help him rebuild the world because Jesus wants to rebuild what has been destroyed. He wants to help fix little by little this broken world. So Jesus can rebuild things that have been destroyed. Trey, do you think that means Jesus can rebuild your tower?
I mean, yeah, he's definitely that powerful, but I think it means it's something a little bit different than that.
What do you mean?
Well, I think God still cares more about people like us being friends still.
I get it. So it's not about like physical things, but more like rebuilding our friendship. Yeah, I think so too.
Dude, I think I'm still upset with you over breaking my tower down.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that was kind of a jerk move.
I think we can get over it.
Yeah, I think so too. Here, let's rebuild your tower.
Jolt people, Jesus wants to rebuild things that are destroyed, like this tower.
Yeah, and mostly like relationships, like your relationship with God.
Maybe someone else's relationship with God, like inviting someone to Jolt.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's a great idea. Inviting a friend to Jolt. Whatever it is that's broken, God wants to rebuild it.
All right, everybody, let's go to small groups and let's talk boundaries. Let's talk about how people have hurt you in the past and how to keep those boundaries. And let's see what's broken around you.
What?
See you next week.